Well, hello everybody. In today's episode, we're going to be taking you to an ultra scenic camping and fishing spot near Wanaka. We're going to the Kids Bush Dog Camp right at the shores of Lake Hāwea. Our goal here is to catch some beautiful rainbow trout for the barbecue and for our smoker. To increase our chances here, I bought a Leadcore line and I'll be using that for the very first time, and I'll share my experience with you. Leadcore lines are especially useful in those deep, clear mountain lakes where the trout often sit very deep in the water. They allow us to troll our lures at various depths, but they're also very expensive and quite cumbersome, as you will see when you watch this video. So in this episode, I will share everything I have learned about fishing at this beautiful spot and how we eventually managed to catch ourselves some really tasty trout. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We just have one more stop before we can finally leave this mayhem, and that is the supermarket at the new shopping complex here that wasn't here last time when we were here a couple of years ago. Biggest new world we've ever seen in the world. Another $90 worth of food. I think we spent already $1,000 here in Wanaka in 3 days. Time to get out of here. Alrighty, we just drove into the Kids Bush Reserve Road. We came here a couple of years ago. I think 2018 was the last time we came here. And we caught some nice fish here, just here in this area. And this is called the Neck. And it's a good spot here for fishing. And there's also a boat ramp just here.
I found myself a situation full of woe and complication. It's got me running in my dream. Got me driving and I can't sleep.
You want some new panties, Asia?
I've got enough panties.
You got enough, eh? Someone lost their panties. First bit of rubbish. Well, we're all set up now. Looking forward to some fishing. Hopefully the wind will stop soon. What the hell is all this noise? Oh ho ho! Millions of sheep. Woohoo! That's a lot of sheep out here. They're moving them along the campsite to the next paddock. Alright everybody, now it's time to focus a little bit on the Leadcore fishing line that I bought myself and how we're gonna set it up. So I had to have a look on how to actually tie Leadcore to a backing, and then of course you also have to tie it to a leader. You can't tie your lures directly to the Leadcore. So there are two different techniques to do that, and I'm going to show you quickly what I have found out. You can get them in different breaking strains. Now I got an 18-pound breaking strain. The friendly person in the fishing store in Wanaka, he said that 18-pound is probably the best one. It's got pretty much the same weight as the 27-pound, but it's much thinner. Don't need such a big reel for it. But despite that, can you see how thick that is here on that spool? So you still need a fairly big reel to get that all onto your reel, including the backing and the leader line. So for that reason, I'm using a saltwater reel. This reel here is a Shimano Thorium overhead reel, but you could also use a big spinning reel with a big spool on it. And I had 80-pound braid on it. This is my backing. 80-pound is a little bit too much for that. You probably only want 20 or 30-pound backing, but that's what I had on it, so I just left it there. But the first challenge we have to deal with now is how we're going to connect our Leadcore line to our leader here. So what you got to do is you take the end of the lead core, and you see the lead sticking out here a little bit, and we can actually pull that sleeve back. Can you see that? Take the lead that is inside here, and I pull the sleeve back a couple of centimeters like so. So I want to have the lead exposed. Now let's just snip that lead off here. Straighten that out, and now we only got like some sort of braided line here without the lead. And now we can actually just make a back-to-back uni knot to attach that to our backing. So we just cross those two lines over like so. That's the end here. Hold them together, and because there's no lead in there, I can make a loop in the part that doesn't have lead, and I just make a maybe a 3-knot uni knot in there. So I did a uni knot on this side now, where we got the lead core without the lead core. And now I just do another uni knot in my braid over the lead core line. Do about 5 loops here on my braided line. And now we can just pull those 2 uni knots together. And that is our back-to-back uni knot. So it's a fairly thin knot. It's only for the backing really to the leader line, so that doesn't need to run through the guides that often, but it's definitely thin enough for that. So all we need to do is cut off the tack ends and we're done. Okay, so that's our first line joint. Now I can get this onto my reel. I actually had to do this again here, this knot, the joining knot, because I forgot to put my reel onto the rod first, and it's much easier to get the line onto the reel when the reel is on the rod, right? That happens when you do things without thinking first. All right, that is all done. Did the knot again. Let's put the lead core line down and start spooling it up. I hope my reel will have enough capacity now. Oh guys, it's getting really windy here. Now the lead core line is multicolored. It has 10 different color sections, and each one is about 10 meters or 10 yards in that case. We got 100 meter line, and sectioned in 10 meters, and each color is supposed to give you a sink rate of 5 to 7 foot per color. So we get 10 sections times 2 meters, so we get about a 20 meter sinking depth if we let the whole line out. Seeing how many of these color sections we let out, we can then basically determine our sink, our depth, our trawling depth. So I got about 2 color sections on here already. Let's keep winding. Unfortunately, my reel here is not a level wind, so I have to guide this with my thumb to get the line on there fairly straight. That is a bust up here. Look at that. Our spool is full with line, and we still got a whole lot line here left over. We can't get that on. Damn it, I thought it would be enough. Now I probably have to take off all backing and then put some lighter backing on, maybe some 30 pound or something like that, and then spool that all on again. You need a really big reel actually for fishing with lead line. We got it all off. It's not pretty. Well, it turns out I actually had a bit of mono backing here on the reel before, at the end, just before the braid. So I might not have to put any other backing on there. I can just leave it like this. The backing is only there for a little bit of give here. Trout don't pull that hard, you know, so once you hook up a trout, they're not going to pull out any of that line anyway. It's just so that I'm not having my lead line directly onto on the reel, right? Now, because my backing now is mono rather than braid, I can actually show you the other knot that you can use to join those two lines together. This knot is called a Willis knot. So we start again by taking off some of the lead here, expose some of the lead, and then we're just gonna clip off that bit of lead here. So that lead is gone. Pull that sleeve back. So first we want to do one just normal loop knot here that can go over the lead basically, but we're not going to pull this tight. We just have it here like so, just a loop knot. Now I'm just going to try to push my mono backing. I'm just going to try to push that into the sleeve. I managed to get it into the first bit. Push that over the sleeve here, and I want to push it to where the lead line starts. So I've got a bit of a way to go here. I just have to wiggle that basically in. All right, so I wiggled that in there, so that is almost touching the lead now. It's pretty hard to wiggle this thing in there, but I got it almost here. Here's the lead and I can feel where it is. And now the goal is to move this knot here forward and have the knot right here at the end over both the sleeve and the backing line, and then just pull the knot tight. Oh, that did not work. Oh, bloody hell. We got the knot here, but the thing came out. Oh guys, that's another bit of a bust up. That is too difficult for me. I'm probably too stupid to do that. So I'm just gonna go with the back-to-back uni knot again. Much easier to do. My absolute favorite. So yeah, pretty cool. Back-to-back uni knot. Go with that if you can't figure out how to do the Willis knot. All right, so we're ready to spool the thing up again. Do one more time and hopefully this time we will get it all on here. Otherwise I'm gonna cry. Got my nice assistant here, Asian assistant. We're gonna hold it this time so it comes better onto the reel. All right, let's go. See if we can put a little bit of tension on it. I'm gonna reel in slow so this lead line gets super easily damaged. I already have a bit of a bend in that one here. Well guys, fishing with Leadcore line is a pain in the ass. First of all, I got a tangle already. Second of all, my spool is full and I couldn't fit the last collar on there. How could that tangle like this? And we got bends everywhere now. You can see the lead actually sticking out in those little nicks. Luckily it's the end of the line and not like somewhere in the middle. That surely weakens the line a lot, those little bends. It's probably impossible to avoid that. So I just have to cut off the last collar, so the last 10 meters won't fit. So I only end up with about 90 meters of lead line on here, unfortunately. And this lead line is really expensive, so it's a pain. I'm gonna put some leader on there, about 10 meters of 8-pound leader, and then my lure at the end. Ooh, check out that wind here. Can you see the wind? Some real gusts coming through here at the moment. Oh my god. Definitely no fishing today. That's what we get here in Otago, up in the mountains. We didn't have any wind on the west coast like this. We were quite used to not having so much wind, but now it is windy every afternoon like hell. I've also been sorting out my fishing gear. I put away all the saltwater gear because I'm not going to be needing that for a little while now. And holy cow, look at all my trout fishing stuff that I have collected over the years. It's so much. All the boxes are full with lures and fly fishing gear, and as it always is with the 80-20 rule, right? Probably 80% of the stuff that I've got in there I never use, and 20% of the stuff is actually the stuff that I use to catch fish. So I might have to get rid of 80% of that. You know what's frustrating? Having a perfectly good electric motor that you can't use. Now I had this E-Propulsion Vaquita kayak and sub motor for ages. Great little motor with a waterproof battery and wireless remote, super quiet, and I used it heaps with my paddle board. But unfortunately this thing had no way to mount it to my inflatable boat. Here's the thing though, I really wanted to make this work because this little motor could solve two big problems for me. Number one, when you're fishing for trout, noise is your enemy. Fire up that gas outboard and usually every fish within half a mile knows you're coming. And the second problem is that my Suzuki outboard usually wants to go too fast. Even the slowest speed is often too fast for trout. Now a little while ago I tried the obvious hack first. I strapped the motor to a paddle and took it out for a test, and it actually worked okay, but the steering was pretty terrible. So this time I decided to build a transom mount for my little Vaquita. Alright, here's my idea. I bought myself this PVC pipe from Mitre 10. This here is the bracket that comes with the electric motor. It is supposed to go onto the rudder of the kayak. I thought I'd make up a little bit of a rudder, so I got this plastic cutting board here, and my idea is to cut that into shape so that I can screw this bracket onto that, and then I will cut out a little bit here so I can put that on that plastic tube, right? And then I got my plastic tube with a bit of a rudder and my bracket on here. Use the elbow joint to make a tiller arm so I could actually steer the thing, and then make a transom bracket from the rest of the cutting board. The beauty of using C-clamps to attach it to the transom would be that I can take the whole thing off in seconds. Okay, so this morning it's not so windy, so we're gonna try the trolling motor. Quite excited about that, and we're gonna try the Leadcore line for the first time for trolling. So yeah, let's see how we get on with that. Alright everybody, we went out a little bit away from the campsite, and the first thing I want to try is a trolling motor. So here's the battery that comes with the motor. Alright, let's get the motor done. Now this is not quite optimal yet. I have to kind of have these clamps permanently attached to that board. Number one. It looks like I cannot use the rod holder because of that position on that side. Only the rod holder on the other side. So that's also a little bit of a design flaw here, but motor is attached. Here's my handle, that is portable, that just sticks in like so. Now we turn on the battery and hopefully something will happen. Turn on the wristband as well, that's our controller. Can steer nicely now. Oh yeah, I'm quite happy with that, look at this. Sort of additional motor to our other motor, so let's see if we crank this up. It's about 3/4 speed now, and we're moving. We need to steer like that. Well, this is a success, guys. Look at this. I've got two motors now. We got it at 3/4 speed now, and it's absolutely quiet. So that's about walking speed, which you want for trolling for trout. We can actually lift this motor up a little bit so we get some less resistance in the water.
That's a good idea.
Yes! Guys, what do you think? I think this is a really good solution. Electric motor plus petrol motor on this little boat, and we can use the petrol engine to go to where we want to start fishing, and then just use this one, and it also saves my arm from pulling that pull start all the time. The only reason I'm using this is because this is my paddle board motor. You could also of course install a trolling motor like a water snake or something like that, but then you need another battery, and it also takes up a lot more space. Look how compact this whole unit is now after I installed that, and I can just take it apart. It's just so small and so easy for traveling. I love how easy that is, and the steering, how easy that works. We already made quite a bit of distance, and we make absolutely zero sound. I think we're gonna go a little bit closer to the shoreline. Unfortunately, I think it's not available for sale in New Zealand anymore. Maybe someone's going to import it again. But what I like about it is that it has a lot of power compared to the other kayak and small dinghy trolling motors. The battery can get you going for about 11 kilometers or something, but when you crank it up at full speed, you can get it up to almost 10 kilometers per hour on a paddle board. On our boat we might get about 6 kilometers per hour out of it. If you want to know a little bit more about this motor, then I made a review. I leave the link in the description for you guys if you want to check it out. So here I've got my lead line. I showed you guys how I set this up. I'm just using a small black Toby. That's actually not a Toby, it's a Dandy, small Dandy, same company, Killwell. And we're gonna chuck that out here and troll that with our lead line. Now one thing I forgot totally today, another bust up, is my sounder. When you fish with lead lines, you really want to know how deep you are, so you know how much of that line you should let out, or if you're too close to shore. So I have no idea what the depth is here. Hopefully we're not going to snag up and lose half of our lead line straight away. Open that so our reel runs freely. Now we're just going to let this out. And we're not moving very fast, so I can actually kind of have to do that by hand here a little bit. So the lead line is coming, and now I can look at the colors that are coming. We got brown now, and now it's coming on its own. The lead line has enough weight to pull that down. Each color dives to about 7 feet. Now I lost track already. I think that's the second color we're on. So since the water here is probably really deep, I just let it run down almost all the way to the end. See how far we go. All the way to the end gives us about 20 meters depth. So we're almost done at the end now. I can see the backing underneath there. So we got like half a collar left. Theoretically, we should be trolling at about 7 times 9 is, Haitian?
63.
63. 63 divided by 2 is?
Hang on.
You can see the Korean brain working very hard there.
31.5.
31.5 meters. So that should be the depth, maybe 30 meters. Bloody hell. Why do we have to always do everything in feet with these things? We're working in meters, isn't it? Now let's just hope we're gonna catch a fish with that as well. And my trolling motor is just trolling away.
This is what we didn't want.
Already got stuck on our lead line.
Shore. Rocky
We got a
shore.
little bit too close to the shore now.
Got it? Oh, sounds like you got it back.
No.
No? Oh, wow. Ow! What the heck? Bird's
Oh
nest.
god, now we got a bird's nest here.
Oh, shit. Total messy, disaster.
Big bust up, guys.
Bust up, bust up, bust up.
Check this out. That is the problem when using these overhead reels here. It's like a huge pain in the ass once you have a bird's eye nest with it. Getting this out is almost impossible. Alright, I managed to untangle this. As I've made so many loops around here, and this lead line just gets these little nicks here straight away as soon as you get a tangle, and I think that probably weakens this line. What a bloody mess with that.
Fish!
No.
Big fish! looks like you got a big trout or a big salmon. Oh my!
Now it broke off somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, hopefully at the leader end.
I mean, it's not funny, eh? It's serious business, right?
Serious business. I think we got most of the line back at least. The reel spool is getting pretty full.
Great.
But this is only 18 pounds. I don't know why we can't break that loose.
Oh my.
Now we broke it loose. Jesus Christ, what the hell? Let's see, there shouldn't be any leader left.
Ay. Little bit leader. I mean, very tiny bit. 10 centimeter.
Alright, well, we didn't lose any lead line, luckily. The leader must have wrapped around a rock somewhere here. Oh my god, what a first bust up with this lead line. That is such a hassle to fish with this thing. It was such a hassle to set it up already. And now this thing here, now I have to put a new leader on.
Yep. Yeah, fishy.
Fish is on?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Let's hope we get a nice big rainbow trout. Well guys, our paravein worked better again than the Leadcore line. Leadcore line was a big failure straight away. Okay, Haitian, just play it safe. It's got a landing net here already.
I mean, it's far away still, you know?
Catching a fish with a big saltwater setup like this is,
Maybe.
I think it's nothing on. Oh, that's it. Sort of bring it in. No tension there.
No.
Alright, we lost the fish, unfortunately. Haitian, why did you lose the fish? What did you do? Well, that was a bit of a unsuccessful morning. Besides the electric motor, we did not manage to catch a fish. The lead line did not last very long. That only lasted for about 5 minutes before we got snagged up. And then with the paravein, we did not get anything. I think I'm gonna have to change my lures. First, let's recharge the battery. The battery lasted us for probably about an hour and a half, I would say. So pretty good. We've been out trolling back and forth, and we didn't have to use the Suzuki at all to come back here. We came all the way back on the last bar of the battery. Should take around about 3 hours to charge that back up to full.
Come over here.
Oi. Looks like the cows have escaped. Yeah, looks like all the cows have escaped. And I want to go for a swim as well here at the dog campsite. This guy is a bit angry, he's charging around here. He's probably the boss. Well, after all these failures this morning, we're gonna have another go now in the evening. I retied my lead line here. This time I put a woolly bugger on it. You see a little woolly bugger here. This one is actually called the bleeding bitch. Yeah, on the other one, on my paravein setup, I also put a woolly bugger. So, but hopefully we have a little bit more luck now. We just went for a swim and now we are really cold. The whole beach now here is full with cow shit from when those cows were here earlier to have a drink. We got so much stuff now. We took everything we have to catch a trout. Oh, let's go. Alright, so now that we got our sounder set up, we can finally see what the depth is here. So we're at 18 meters. So that gives us a better idea on how deep we have to set our lead lines here. We could probably just start with a lead line straight away here. Okay, who's ready? Where's our lead line? You got it under your bum. The other way around, it's an overhead rod, so you hold it like that first.
And then
this is the drag here. First you open up the drag like this, and that's how you set the drag again. Like it's like the bail arm on the other rod, you know. This is with the open bail arm, and then
let it out now?
Yeah, now you pull it out until you get to the lead, and then once we get to the lead, it should sort of come out on its own.
Make sure we don't get this bird's nest again, huh?
Yeah, don't pull too quickly, otherwise it sort of rolls and gives you a bird's nest. It's always the problem with these overhead reels. They're not so easy.
Bird's nest is no fun.
You can remove the clicker, then it comes out more easy. Just hold your thumb on it a little bit. If you don't have your thumb on it and the spool runs too quickly, then we get the bird's nest. Today we're gonna have our dinner on the boat. Aisha made some nice pasta. Look at that. Pasta for dinner while we're trolling. Everybody, again, we're not having any luck tonight. We're just freezing our butt off here because it's so cold. Westerly wind right now, but man, check out the view. Sunset. It is so stunning here. Campsite in the background there. And there's the view of those mountains. Wow. It's $1 million view, eh, Asian? $1 million view here. But no luck. Still enjoying being out here, although Asian gets a little bit cold now and wants to go home.
Mark finished the whole pasta by himself. I got fish finally, oh my god, we tried so many lakes.
And we didn't even need the Leadcore line, it was just on a black Toby on our cheap TEMU rod.
Oh no jump, no jump, no jump. Oh please.
Careful, careful. A small one came off. Oh, you lost it. You lost it. It's gone.
Ah.
It's gone. Oh my god. Yeah, we were pulling a little bit too hard there. We lost the rainbow trout. It wasn't a big one, but
There wasn't a big one, but was it nice size for eating?
at least it was one. Almost had it. We just lost it right in front of the net. I have to rehydrate some lentils since we don't have any protein now. We're gonna play it more gentle.
No, actually there wasn't like so. There wasn't the case because there was like almost in the net.
And you
I
got
don't
too
know what
excited.
What
and
I
you
can do differently actually.
got too excited, you pulled too hard.
I wanted to keep the tension because it's only single hook. If I lose tension and when he jumps, then it's end of the world, you know.
Well, the weekend crowd has arrived, as you can see. It looks like we're not gonna be able to get out of there with our boat, eh? The wheels are completely stuck in the sand now.
They can get out now.
Good job. But they just dug themselves out, and amazing. Another failure tonight. We're just going from one failure to the next one. It's so difficult to catch a trout. A little bit banana bread and coffee. The days are getting shorter. I got up a little bit early today because we haven't had much luck catching trout during the day. It is 6:30 now and it's still pretty dark outside. Well, if anything, today is the day. Everything is green on our new weather clock. That means the fishing is good. There's no wind all day. The temperature, everything is stable. Yeah, we got the bite times just coming up in about an hour. Perfect timing today. Perfect day for fishing. Well guys, just launched the boat. The campsite is absolutely shocker. It was Saturday last night. The amount of people is absolutely crazy. You wouldn't imagine how inconsiderate some of the campers are. There was a big party going on right here where all the shares are. Lots of rubbish there left right now. And they were playing super loud music. I couldn't even sleep until about 2 a.m. or so. Non-stop music and really shitty music too. I don't know what's going on here in Wanaka, Queenstown. I didn't expect too much, but yeah, the people are not very considerate. I'm really sorry for all those other campers that are camped up around here, because it was a really rough night just because of a few annoying people. Otherwise the camp would have been quite nice and quiet actually. It's a bit of a shame because, you know, people come here to enjoy the nature, not to have big time parties, right? You can have your parties somewhere else. Anyway, we're gonna be heading out now. Beautiful morning, no wind so far. I've got everything I've got here on the boat. I'm gonna be throwing everything I have at them today and hopefully we'll catch something. I just can't get enough of the views out here, man. It is just stunning. One of the most beautiful spots to fish at, I would say. Well, I made it over to the other side of the lake and there are a couple islands here. There's the Dingleburn River mouth, but it was really choppy getting over here to the other side. Not a nice ride, and I'm really not so sure if I can go to that river mouth. That looks really promising, but it's another couple kilometers, and if the wind picks up, I'm screwed out here. Camp's all the way out back behind me. What's amazing on those big mountain lakes is that you have absolutely no conception of the distance out here. Everything looks fairly close, but then it takes forever to get there. Well, let's try a little bit of fishing. I turned on the fish finder. Got 43 meter depth right here, so it's pretty deep. So maybe I just let out the lead line and then we're gonna troll around these islands a little bit. Fish out there. It looked like the fish finder showed me one fish. It's very, very deep here though. I'm sort of trying to find that drop off with a 30 meter mark. Hello sun. Beautiful. Beautiful sunrise over the mountains. Everything just looks so big here, guys. It's really difficult on a big lake like this to actually find the fish. They could be anywhere. But I do love fishing on those huge, big lakes and also on big rivers. I know lots of trout fishermen, they prefer small venues, small little rivers for fly fishing and so, but I just like being out in this kind of massive environment because it just feels so remote and also a little bit thrilling to be out here. What the hell is going on here? Can you see that? There's just trees sticking out here everywhere. I think we just reached the Dingleburn River Delta. It is still 111 meters deep here and the trees are sticking out just there. What the hell is going on here? Well, I did not think that there's gonna be a forest sticking out of the lake here, in the middle of the lake. Pretty interesting situation. Still 36 meters deep here and still the trees are sticking out. Hopefully I'm not gonna hit one with a boat. That would be probably the end of my inflatable. Nope.
I can't escape this situation, 'cause I won't meet the expectation. Over mountains, across the sea, I can't vanquish what I can't see. Hollering myself awake, trying to beat a windless game, dodging bullets all the way. Maybe I'll find you on my last day, and maybe I will find you on my last day.
Got a trout, guys. Yoo-hoo, finally! After hours of fishing. Hopefully we're not gonna lose it. On the lead line. Oh, it is a good one too. Big one. Woohoo! We got him in the net. The hook came just straight out. As soon as we had him in the net, the hook is out. What a beauty! Check out this size. Oh my god. What a nice trout. Oh yeah. The lead line has finally paid off after all that. Ooh, making a big mess here. This trout is very feisty. Just bleeding him quickly, but man, I'm happy I finally got a trout after all the trying, and I'm quite happy we got it on the lead line. Yeah, so the $120 investment paid off. I'm super stoked with it. That fish is just gonna make such a nice dinner. So fat and well nourished. Very, very happy. And I got her on my all-time favorite spinning lure here. That is the Maps Black Fury. It is not the Maps Black Fury original. It's an imitation from TEMU. I showed you in my TEMU video. I bought a couple of those ones, but they're exactly like the Maps Black Fury, and these ones work always really good for me. So I attached that to the lead line, and after not having any luck with black tobies and this kind of stuff, this bladed spinner finally gave me a fish. So just got to change around lures as much as you can for trout fishing, you know, and also different locations. I came all the way back from the river mouth there, of the Dingleburn river mouth, because it got really choppy. The southerly picked up. It's really cold still, even though the sun is up. And there's another little tiny stream mouth here on the other side coming back towards the campsite, and that's where I've been strolling around. It was only about 10 to 14 meters deep here. That's where they were hanging around. So I'm just gonna go for another troll. I'm allowed to catch 2 trout here. I've been reading up on NZ Fishing on the website. Average catch rate here is 1 trout every 2 hours.
Cute. Wow.
Alright, that's a nice trout. Orange. 3 times fishing, to catch one trout here. I finally got one at Kids Bush Reserve, and that's gonna go into the smoker.
Doesn't fit.
This is to go second time. Trout in ages.
Yay! 0 bones. And this tail part. Yummy.
Definitely cooked. Only took 15 minutes to cook. After everything I've spent to catch a trout here, including the Leadcore line, probably around about $200 for one trout. If we catch one more, then we have 2 trouts for $200. Definitely an expensive trout to eat, this one here, but it is equally tasty.
Tastes really like salmon.
Yeah. Check out this mess this made here. There's crap everywhere. Blood sprinkles all over. This trout made such a mess. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. How am I going to clean that? Luckily it's going to rain tomorrow morning. Just leave the boat out in the rain and hopefully that will clear it up. Another trout on the lead line, and this time I changed my leader to 15-pound fluorocarbon leader, and that prevented the lure breaking off already twice, so I think that's the way to go. Usually the day before there's some kind of storm or weather change. It's supposed to be pretty shitty, windy and rainy tomorrow. Usually the day just before is, in my opinion, always quite good for trout fishing. They seem to detect those weather changes and come on the bite. Well guys, I'm just smoking up another beautiful trout, and our time here at Kids Bush Reserve is coming to an end. The trout fishing was a little bit tough in the beginning. Learning how to fish with lead line for the first time for me was a bit of a challenge. Yeah, I lost quite a few lures because of that, but I think now I got it figured out. You don't really have to let out all 10 colors of that lead line. I found out that 4 to 5 colors is enough. That's about half the lead line, so, and that gets the lure down to about 10 meters. Don't really need to fish much deeper than that. Most fish I found seem to be hanging around just the edges, especially in the mornings and in the evenings, and that is only about 10 to 6 meters in depth. So that's what I found out about lead line fishing. Otherwise it's pretty productive. I think I prefer it now to my paravein, and I found that those bladed spinners, they've been working really good for me, better than all the other lures that I tried. I gotta tell you, the trout out of this lake is just out of this world. They just taste so good, and we were lucky because we caught a couple of big ones here. Really clean, super nice taste. I really do think that trout is probably the most sustainable and probably also the healthiest source of protein out there. Now these trout out here in those clean lakes, they have almost 0 mercury, I would say, and they are also very sustainable because they can be restocked, right? They can be stocked up.
Very nice. Very soft, juicy. Oily.
What else did we do here? We went up to the Sawyer hut. That is really, really steep for about 2 hours. Then you get up to the bush line, and from there it's not so hard anymore. And then you get to the hut. Yeah, it's a really cool walk. Beautiful views from up there. Love it. Can you see that stream there? And the shallow kind of delta. It's only a very small stream, but that should be a good spot for targeting some trout there. Alright, we made it. The Sawyer Burn hut. A cute little hut. Let's have a quick look inside. We got a saw for some firewood. We got a nice wood burner. And we got 2 bunks. And we also got our guest book. But what's up with those chairs there? Look at that. These chairs are tiny. Looks like this hut is made for little elves or dwarfs, eh? Well, the campsite here is absolutely pumping with people. The weekends get super busy. Even during the week it gets really busy. I'm surprised that no one here is checking. Seen anyone to check for the bookings or registrations or anything? That's kind of weird because it's such a busy spot. I would have expected there's some kind of warden here going around in the evening to check if everything is going well, especially on the weekend. They don't really know how to behave themselves. Besides that, it's a great camp. I love it here. Kids Bush. It's such a beautiful little spot. We're so lucky to have places like this where we can just camp up and go fishing. Not many people fish here, surprisingly. Every now and then you see someone walking around with a fishing rod. I think it's a great fishing and camping spot, especially if you got a boat, because you can go to all these different places like the neck and those river mouths around here where the fish are hanging around. And we're gonna go out again tonight, have another go on the boat. Hopefully we catch another trout for the next couple of days, and then we can take it with us when we head off from here.
But I can see this fish jump just here. Fish jumped here. Here fish jumped. Right here. Guys, I did my first cast for tonight with the lure that Mark recommends just now. Tonight will be the last chance for me to catch one nice trout, because we're leaving tomorrow. So hope for the best. Even if I cannot catch one tonight, there will be always next time, right? That's gonna be really good reason to come back to this beautiful lake and catch one for myself. Mark just got a big monster, he said.
Have I lost him?
Bum, 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 bum.
I think he definitely was pulling right.
Oh yes! You didn't lose it! Yay, Mike Mean! Hang on. I get the net. Wow, fit!
And that float is down. Keep that down.
Got it, I got it!
Oh yeah. Got him. Oh. That was good.
Wow!
It was very fast. Another beautiful rainbow trout. He's hooked fairly good though.
Very similar sizes what we caught so far, right?
All the fish are pretty big in here. Look at this. Super
Another nice
condition.
tasty one.
We're gonna have so much protein here.
So much omega-3 here.
They're really, really fat. Look at the condition. It's perfect.
Wow.
The lead line, eh? 4
Wow.
colors out on the lead line, just trolling the Maps black spinner imitation.
Guys, I think Mark gave me this wrong lure in case I catch a fish which could be bigger than his catches. So he gave me wrong lure, so I cannot catch anything.
We have to fish deep. I think that's the trick here. Fishing deeper with that lead line. I've never considered lead lines before, right? But people always been asking me, have you used lead lines? And I just thought, probably not really necessary, but it definitely works. So Asian actually just caught a trout.
Nice brown, big brown, but
Very
it
big
jumped
trout.
really high up and then got loose.
Next to the boat, but you didn't know that you have a trout on until it was right next to the boat, huh?
No, he didn't know he's hooked either. We both didn't know what's going on.
Yeah. Only when we saw the trout next to the boat, then jumped and it came off the hook. That's the thing with lead line. You don't really, it's like super subtle. When the fish bites on the lead line, you hardly feel it. It's more like a snake, and they only really wake up when they come next to the boat. Before that, it's really hard to tell if there's actually a fish on or not. Well, I hope you enjoyed this today's episode. I just love it here, and I wanted to share this with you. Leave us a comment and give us a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, so we can make more for you guys. So we'll see you in the next adventure.